What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to go over a quick example of a bar plot, just a basic bar plot in Python. I'm going to be using the Pandas, Numpy, and Matplotlib libraries to do so. So just to give you an overview of what I did, I'm pulling in the mtcars dataset from GitHub. I'll link to that below. I am just renaming a column here, and then I'm creating a dictionary of the font styling that I'm going to be using inside of the plots once I make them. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find the means and the standard deviations of a grouping variable within the data set. So this data set, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. It's just got a bunch of cars. Not a bunch, there's actually not that many within this one. And they've got the cylinder type, so 4, 6, or 8 cylinders. They've got miles per gallon. They've got the car name, the brand, all of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to group them by their cylinder type, so 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, or 8 cylinders. I'm going to find the mean and the standard deviations based on those groupings, and then I'm going to plot one of the variables. I'll do miles per gallon, for example, as a bar plot. Okay, so first things first, let's get those means and standard deviations. To do that, it's very simple. I'm going to just create a new variable, or a new data frame rather, of each of these. So we'll say 4 cylinders. This will be equal to my data, where my data cylinder is equal to 4, and then we're going to just find the mean. So this mean is just going to find the mean of all columns, and then we'll do that for six. Sorry, I froze up a bit there. We'll do that for 6 and 8 cylinders as well. So we just come in here and we change these 4s to 6 and 8, and then I'm going to copy these, come down here and paste them again, and instead of mean I'm going to call these SD, so I'm going to be finding the standard deviations here. Okay, and then we have to come over here, of course, and change this mean to STD. Same thing here, STD. Okay, now this is going to give us the mean and the standard deviation of all columns based on those grouping variables. The next thing I'm going to do is create a variable called cylinders, which is just going to house the names that I'm going to want to put eventually on the x-axis. So we'll say 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, and 8 cylinders. Okay, and then that's going to be the names of the axis on the x-ticks. The other thing is that we're going to need to give it a position, so we're going to need these to actually have numeric values. So I'm going to say axis position will be equal to np, which is our numpy module, and we're going to call in a range, and we are going to basically just pass in the length of our cylinders variable. And so it's just going to basically give us an array with 0, 1, 2 in it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do before plotting is I'm going to create a variable called mpg means, which is going to be the values from the mpg column in each of these new data frames. All right, so I'm going to say mean 4 cylinders, where the column name is equal to mpg, and then we'll do the same thing for 6 cylinders. Again, calling in mpg, and then finally 8 cylinders, mpg. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing as you probably guessed for standard deviation, so mpg sd, and this is going to be the same thing as above, except instead of the means, we're pulling in those standard deviation data frames. Sorry, the computer's acting a bit slow here today. Okay, so this is actually everything that we need to do before plotting. So now we've got our means and our standard deviations grouped into two different data frames, and we're going to call these in while we're plotting. So we're going to come down here, we're going to start a figure, and we're going to call in our Matplotlib module. And we're going to say we want a bar plot. And we're going to pass in here our X is going to be axis position. Our Y is going to be our MPG means. Our Y error is going to be our MPG standard deviations. And then we are going to add some color. So we'll say that we want the colors to be blue. So that's the color of the bars themselves. Now that blue is going to be pretty bright. So what we can do is we can set an alpha to that of, let's just say 0.5. Okay. What else should we do? We should we can color the error bars. So we'll say E color will be equal to black. We can also color the edge of the boxes, or the bars rather, by calling it edge color. And we'll set that equal to black as well. And then you can change the cap size on the error bars too. So we'll just say cap size is equal to 10. What else do we want to do? We'll say axis set Y label. And our Y label is going to be MPG. And we want to apply that font dictionary that we created above to style this. So to do that, we'll say font dict is equal to font. And yeah, so then we're going to do axis set X ticks, and we're going to pass into this our axis position. And then we're going to label those. So then we're going to say axis dot set X tick labels, and inside of that we're going to pass in the cylinders variable that we created. And again, that just holds the names of it's going to say 4 sil, 6 sil, 8 sil, and we'll style those the same way we did above. So we'll say font dict is equal to font, and that should do it. So let's go ahead and see how this looks. So we'll say plot show. Let's save that, and let's go ahead and run this. Waiting. Computer's going a bit slow today, but here it is. So you can see we've got a nice bar plot here. Nice and simple, right? You can go ahead and style this differently, change the color, etc., make the lines thicker. You know, you can do whatever your heart desires with this one. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, go ahead and like it. Give my channel a subscribe to see more. You can also find me on Twitter. You can find a lot of my code up on GitHub, and you can find me on LinkedIn, and you can find my academic work on ResearchGate. All right, hope you found this useful. Until next time, keep coding.